The U.S. Constitution makes unmistakably clear the fact that in order to declare war, one must go through Congress. There are good reasons for this requirement. Whenever we go to war, we're making the gravest of moral decisions, decisions that will imperil the lives of those involved in that war, including and especially the brave young men and women who represent us in uniform and who fight to protect our freedom. The costs of war, and I speak not only of the economic costs, but especially of the deep human costs associated with war, are such that these decisions should never be made lightly. And it's for this reason that the Founding Fathers wisely put this power into the hands of those occupying the branch of government most accountable to the people at the most regular intervals. You cannot declare war without going through Congress. Sadly, over time, some of this power has been neglected by the very Congress to which the power properly constitutionally belongs. Under the Constitution, to which every member of this body has sworn an oath to uphold and protect and defend. It's wrong to go into war without Congress directing it, ordering it, declaring it. And yet, sadly, tragically, unconstitutionally, I believe, the United States has been involved as a co-belligerent in a civil war half a world away in Yemen, involved in connection with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia-led coalition against the Houthi rebels. What, one might ask, is the U.S. interest in this war? What is it about this particular civil war in Yemen? It's important to keep the American people safe? Well, that's a question that's never been fully answered. In fact, it's a question that's never been answered at all by the only branch of government capable constitutionally of making that assessment, of answering that question. We have never answered it. It's not just a mere formality that we go through when we require Congress to declare war. It's about the debate that starts, the conversation that occurs among the American people, the accountability that each member of the Senate and each member of the House of Representatives has to his or her constituents. It's about the fact that we've got to be able and willing to look the American people in the eye, even our own constituents, our own friends and neighbors, even and especially those who are the parents and loved ones of the men and women who will be at the battlefront, asked to pay potentially the ultimate price for defending freedom. We have to be willing to do that, and yet we haven't. Because for the last 4 years, we've been fighting someone else's war without a declaration of war by Congress, without an authorization for the use of military force by Congress. What then is the remedy? Well, there are a number of things that we could do and that we should do. Among them are the procedures outlined by and provided in the War Powers Act. The War Powers Act gives us the ability to halt our military involvement where Congress deems it inappropriate. A few months ago, Senator Sanders and I ran a resolution to do precisely that, availing ourselves of the benefits of the War Powers Act. Sadly, that measure was narrowly defeated. It was tabled. It was halted from moving forward. It's been filed again. We're going to have an opportunity again very soon, perhaps as early as tomorrow, to vote on that yet again. In the meantime, what has changed? Well, we've continued to fight this war, still in an unconstitutional posture, still without the American people having been adequately consulted, still without the American people's elected senators and representatives from making a decision to go to war, still without the opportunity for us to look our neighbors, our constituents, and the parents and family members and loved ones of our brave men and women in uniform who are asked to fight these battles in the eye and tell them why it is that we're asking for this potential sacrifice of American blood and treasure. We have not done those things. And since that time, we've seen some very unsettling realities unfold within the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, with credible intelligence regarding the Crown Prince's involvement in and ordering of the death of Mr. Khashoggi, we now have not only the eyes of the American people on Saudi Arabia, more importantly, we have the eyes of people all around the world on the United States of America. It's not just about the death of Mr. Khashoggi, but Mr. Khashoggi's death and the way it came about, and the way it is alleged and supposed to have been ordered by the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, says something about us if we proceed undeterred in our fighting of an unconstitutional war on behalf of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So it's not just what the American people think about Saudi Arabia or about us in Washington. It's also about what the rest of the world will think about the United States of America if we turn a blind eye to this. And if we continue to fight an undeclared, unauthorized, unconstitutional war that has no apparent connection to the safety of the American people, to the security of the American homeland. This is why, Mr. President, I respectfully and with all the urgency I'm capable of communicating, implore my colleagues to support this resolution, to support the resolution to get us out of fighting Saudi Arabia's war in Yemen. Not our war, not our security, not on our watch. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor and note the absence of a quorum.